All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Bridgewater State University's Fall Preview Day. It's great to see all of you. I wanted to first introduce myself. I'm Laura Biechler, the Director of Financial Aid here at Bridgewater State University. And traditionally in these events, when they're in person, what we do is we actually just have a table where you stop by. So we've had to rethink how we do it, and I'll ask to bear with me. If all technical things work right, we should be good to go. But please let me know if it's not. But this is more an informative session that's very quick and brief, the presentation, and it just goes over the basics of what you can expect here and the contact people that you can get in touch with here at BSU. But welcome, and it's a pleasure to be able to be with you this morning. So here at Bridgewater State University, we basically have a pretty robust federal and state program for financial aid. Many of you probably have been applying to multiple schools where you do see merits. We're going to touch briefly on what kind of merits are offered, what type of scholarships, but just really wanted you to get to know a little bit about what we do here. So we are open Monday through Friday. So as you go through your beginning process of school, we actually are open to the public, which means that you can make an appointment to come in during these times. Most schools I know are requiring us to follow CDC guidelines, and we're doing the exact same thing, except we do have in-person visits if you do so have an interest to do so. It is Monday through Friday, and what we ask is that you call the office and you let us know that what day you'd like to come in. We do ask for a 3-day waiting period, and to ensure that you have no symptoms of COVID, we don't have to show evidence. We just ask that you make sure you're feeling well when you come into the office. You can come with your parent or just as an individual student, or just the parent can come in. I know sometimes that's easier to have depending on scheduling. What you can do is you can meet with a financial aid counselor one-on-one. So as you get closer to the spring semester and you're starting to receive financial aid awards, you're probably going to want to have a conversation with your financial aid counselor. You can also meet with them over Teams, Zoom. We have many different platforms, and sometimes just a simple phone call is all you need, depending on what your questions and details are. So I'll start with the very basics. Here at Bridgewater, we only use one financial aid application. It is the FAFSA form, okay? The FAFSA form you will be required to complete as you're applying to all schools, and if you're interested in financial aid. We do encourage, even if you think you aren't going to get anything out of it, maybe the first year, if this is the first time you're putting a student through college, or yourself, it's the first time you're going to college, you might think, well, I don't know if I'll get anything through the FAFSA. The first year, we still encourage you to do so, because you can become eligible for other aid here at Bridgewater. Even if it's not need-based aid, you can find yourself getting some different scholarships and things, and we do need that the FAFSA on file. Our school code, our OPE-ID number, is what you're going to be asked for when you complete the FAFSA. And I can give that to you. It's 0021830, or you can simply you can go onto the FAFSA and type in Bridgewater State University, and it'll automatically fill it in for you. I know many people are using the app on their phone to complete the FAFSA. So keep in mind that if you're applying to multiple schools, what you're going to want to really think about is the top 3 schools will get your FAFSA automatically. The other ones will not, and you will have to move around the selection of schools depending on how many schools you're applying to. Some students apply to like 8 or 10. And so when you do that, this is in general, call the financial aid office that you haven't heard from. And in general, ask them, do you have my FAFSA? Many of them will say yes, but because it's not on the top 3, it didn't get pushed over to being sent from the Department of Ed. So that way you're just not waiting forever to get your FAFSA. So I like to give that little helpful hint to many people who are wondering why they didn't hear from a school, and we're in March, April, and May. Here at Bridgewater, we do have a priority date. Now this is a priority date to receive the maximum amount of aid, and it's March 1st. It doesn't mean that if you didn't file your FAFSA by March 1st, you won't get financial aid, but what it means is to be eligible for the maximum amount, we actually go with the March 1st deadline. At this point in time, we have not decided to move that date, even with the current pandemic. So overall, this is going to be something where, we probably will keep with the March 1st deadline. If you have any concerns about that, you can reach out to the office. But again, it doesn't mean you're not going to get financial aid. It just means that there's some funds that are priority before that. So we like to have your processed FAFSA by March 1st. We do offer here grants, scholarships, federal loans, and federal work study. Our scholarship program, there's several different kinds that we do offer, but merits, for example, are something here that we have very few of. Merits come from the admissions office, and it's a very select top of the class group. We don't really have a lot of recipients, to be honest. It's about 3 additional per year, so it's a very small portion. What we do have here is a robust need-based financial aid. And once again, sometimes you think you're not eligible for need-based funding, but you'd be pleasantly surprised here at BSU, you probably will end up with some type of mid-need group that we would be happy to award some need-based funding to. Overall, our grants and our scholarships are quite robust here. And the fact that we do offer the federal loans and federal work study, those go on to awards. As long as you're eligible, you will be awarded that money. You will see similarities in your loans. So if you are a freshman coming into college first year student, you're going to see the exact same Staffords that are on our award as any other award because it's federally regulated. So you're eligible for X amount of dollars. That's a given amount across the board. If it is the school where here you got federal work study for $1,800, you could go to another school where they offer you $3,000. That's something that's discretionary, and the institution decides how much it is. That follows the same with scholarships, and Pell Grant can be similar across the board, but it also can vary a little bit. So we ask that if you do find something going on with your federal funding and you're a little confused, reach out to the financial aid office just to confirm that we have the correct estimated family contribution, which is what decides what type of aid you get, because that's the result of the FAFSA application. Financial aid counselors are basically here to help students at any time, Monday through Friday. We're open 8:30 to 5 every day. So basically, go right ahead and know that you can reach out to your financial aid counselor. The last names are how we break up the counselors. So if your last name starts with an S, you're going to be working with Diane Place. So it's one of those things where it's okay to not know, but I always find it helpful to help parents so they can see which counselor it is. You can find this list on our website, and I can provide the link in the chat after I stop sharing my screen, or you can jot down their name now. You can email them, you can call them. And just so you know, we also have a front support staff that if you call in, you'll probably end up speaking with one of them. We do ensure that students were open to the public even during these uncertain times. So if you do really want to come in and meet with a financial aid counselor, you just have to make sure you make an appointment right now due to the CDC guidelines that we're following. So we encourage everyone to just give us a quick call, make sure that you're able to come in, you don't have any symptoms, and we're going to ask you to come in during a specific time during our working hours so that we're able to help. We also do Zoom if you would like to do that. We do use Teams, Microsoft Teams, and the good old phone call works well too. So there's always a way to get in touch with somebody here in financial aid. So we encourage that as you go through this process, we know that it's very confusing. Reach out to us and we're going to be happy to walk you through whatever you need on our end for Bridgewater State. Okay. Overall, the award offers here, just to clarify, I know a lot of you probably are applying to multiple schools. We're not a merit-based school, which means that we're not going to be awarding a $30,000 and $40,000 merit to anyone. We are a need-based award offering school. There is very few merits. Those decisions are made by the Dean of Admissions, not by our office. If you wonder if you qualify for a merit, we do tell you that we're not a merit-based school, so keep that in mind, and you would want to speak to admissions. There is the thought process behind our robust awarding is, even though it's not merit-based, we do have a great support for our students. So you're going to want to make sure that you still reach out to us and ask what you qualify for if you haven't heard from us, and we're in January and February. We will begin loading the FAFSAs for next award year, the fall 21 class. We'll do that towards the end of November. And then right before Christmas, we're going to end up releasing a batch of award offers. That's the goal. Then after that, we do it every week once we come back from break. So in January is when we really see a kick up. If you owe us documentation, you're going to be notified of that in January as well. So for right now, if you submit your FAFSA, we're going to ask you just to be patient as we get everything set up, and you'll be hearing from us probably more likely in January, but there's a chance you would also get an award. If you've already submitted your FAFSA, I touched on this earlier, keep in mind, we're not pulling them in till mid to end November. So if it says it's submitted, that's great. You can contact us in December, January to confirm. But the activity between now and December, it's going to be towards the end of December, and you'll start to see your award offers, and they will be electronically delivered to you through the student portal, right?
I just had a quick question. If our financial, situation has changed since, because we filed the FAFSA, but obviously, the FAFSA is the previous year. Is there a way we can let financial officers know that it's changed since then?
Yeah, so what we're going to ask, and this is going to be traditional just so you know as you navigate figuring out what school to go to. Anytime, what you'll do is you'll always want to make sure that you explain your situation to the financial aid office, but actually you want to wait until you get awarded. So if you're applying to 8 schools, the 8 schools are going to issue your award offers based on the estimated family contribution that you had, right? Then what'll happen is after you get the award offers, you should reach out to the financial aid office. I would usually I tell students, go with the top 3 or 4. You don't want to be doing and sending in appeal information for 8 to 10 schools. You kind of want to have a little bit more of a decision at that point. And then see what they can offer you. We understand that during these times, there's been a lot of adjustments to people's incomes. However, one of the trends that the financial aid world has seen is because of the excess funding that people did receive through unemployment, overall, it didn't change the EFC that much. So I know that it's a difficult time to really gauge if I'm going to have a job in a year and that kind of thought process, and we're here to help with that. But each school is going to handle those cases differently, but you probably don't want to be submitting taxes and all this information way ahead of time. So I would suggest that if you have a top 3 or 4 schools, I always tell students, then you can start the appeal process with those schools. And then keep in mind, if your results are all the same and they're all telling you there's not much more, or this is what we can give you, you want to go with the school that's the most affordable, but also the one that you realize it doesn't matter if I got more money this year versus other years, because in the end, an appeal is usually only good for 1 year. So you want to make a decision you can afford no matter what moving forward for 4 years. So you really want to get that long-term look of what you can afford and where you want to go to school. Because sometimes those can clash, right? Sometimes you want to go somewhere, but it's really not doable. So keep in mind that if someone does give you an appeal money from financial aid, you want to confirm with them that this is for a year, or is this something I can have, moving forward? Because sometimes schools will give you some more money and they'll do what they call a promise. Here at BSU, we don't really have the BSU promise, which means that our appeals are based on 1 year. So if 1 year you're Pell eligible, but then everything goes back to you getting back to work and your family has a better economic situation, well, then you might be faced with a bit of a, thought of, well, what am I going to do with that difference in funding? So that's what I like to tell students in general. Always be aware. Does that answer your question a little bit?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Good. Well, I look forward, if you do come to BSU, please reach out and let us know if you do have any of those financial issues once you receive your award offer, okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
So I think that we are good for now with all the questions. Encourage you to go back to another session. And again, any questions you have that you didn't ask now, you're more than welcome to reach out to us during the week, Monday through Friday, and we're here to help you. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.